Hello, everybody, and welcome to Peculiar Prattling, the new podcast that PettFarms Entertainment is producing. I'm Steven, and I'm your host for this podcast, and for pretty much all the Pet Farms content, to be honest. But, whatever. This episode actually has a theme to it, and I'm going to be talking about pet farms in general, like where we started, how we started, what stuff we were using, and you can see that the werewolf mask that was sitting in the chair has moved this week. You'll see that happening every episode. It might move around a little bit. It might be in the background somewhere. I'm going to try to do some creative stuff with it. But here we are, back in the new episode. I'm actually super excited for this series because I get to kind of sit and prattle, and it's something that people might actually watch. So I'm super excited about that. But the biggest thing that I wanted to touch on with this episode is definitely the theme is pet farms in general, like how we started, how we got to where we are now. And I'm going to start with that. PettFarms Entertainment was started in 2016. We started filming videos in about August of 2016, I think. And it was me and one of my friends that I was friends with for 15 years almost. And unfortunately, we're not friends anymore, but I'll get to that later. We started Pet Farms because it was something that both of us were interested in. He wanted to do something that had to do with his video editing, and he really wanted to entertain people by making content online because he was like a huge PewDiePie fan at the time, and he really liked like some content from other creators like that. And I was starting to get into the gaming content, and I really liked video games. I still really like video games, and if you follow our Facebook page, you would definitely know that I really like stuff like Assassin's Creed. I like Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that. I mean, I have a Dragon Ball tattoo, and my next one is going to have something Assassin's Creed themed with it, for sure. But I'm just a huge gamer nerd, and so was he. And if you want to follow his stuff, I think he still has the YouTube page at Quests and Quips on YouTube. I don't know if he's still making content, or if he's still working on making content, or if he's just completely quit. I don't know. I don't actually talk to him anymore, and haven't in over a year and a half, probably. Professionally, as Pet Farms, But outside of Pet Farms, I was working with him for a long time, so I'm going to move this so it's not directly in front of me. But one of the things that had us start this page was we were kind of both not doing much of anything. We both had just home work, and that was it. It was kind of a mundane, normal life. We didn't really do anything outside of work. We did actually meet with our friends like every week and play D&D at the time. And we had talked to our friends about it and stuff like that, and they were both like, well, your personalities mesh well enough to kind of make some interesting content. So to begin with, it was just me and him. We made 2 or 3 videos and then brought in his cousin, which I want to touch on those beginning videos. If you go to Pet Farms Gaming on YouTube, you'll find all of our gaming content. We haven't really touched that channel at all, but like put up 2 or 3 videos in the last 2 years. So I'm gonna start working on that. It'll be a different thing. But back to what I was talking about. We started out making just gaming content. I had actually specifically this laptop right here, an HP Pavilion laptop that it has 4 gigabytes of RAM and has some kind of older, I don't remember the processor or the graphics card or anything, but I know it's Intel for sure. I think it might not be. I don't have the stickers on it anymore. Took all those off. But this HP Pavilion laptop is a very basic laptop, and that's what we were using to like record the video for the video games. And we were like, it was a trial and error thing at first, because I bought a game capture card for like $60, and by capture card I mean I bought an Elgato HD, I think is what it's called. It's right here. Yeah, Elgato Game Capture HD. That is the name of it. It is a little capture card, is basically what it is. And it's got the port where you plug in the to power the thing with the USB. It's got a audio video in, so you can route your audio to something else, like a mixer or something like that. And it's got two HDMI ports. One goes into the TV that you're recording the stuff from, and one goes into the video game console. So and the USB takes all that information and puts it into the computer, into the game capture software. And that's the basic gist of how that works. And that card lasted about a year or so before it felt like it was outdated. So here we go into the first couple of videos. It took us probably a month to get an actual recorded video that wasn't somehow just awful. It wasn't like, we had screen tearing, we had like frame drop issues because of the laptop I was using. So I went and bought a desktop, an Acer like bottom line desktop. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM and an Intel HD graphics card. So it's like bottom line Acer desktop, and it was like $200-300. So about the same price as this laptop at the time. And I bought the desktop. The desktop was much better. It was able to handle the game capture software, and we recorded and streamed a lot of stuff. And actually, before I bought the desktop, in between there, we were recording stuff straight from, or we started trying to stream somewhere between the laptop and the desktop. We started trying to stream to Twitch. So we were doing like streaming straight from like my Xbox One or my PlayStation 4, depending on which one we were playing that day, or what game we were playing. And we played through the whole Game of Thrones Telltale series. I'm pretty sure we streamed all of it straight from my PlayStation, which is a viable option if you're a beginning streamer. But the quality wasn't super great. The game audio was kind of lackluster, and the video was 720p, I think, for everything. It was kind of wishy-washy about whether or not the video looked decent or sounded decent, and it was just like, I was not happy with the way it looked. And then we went through a phase where we started recording stuff that wasn't just gaming stuff. We started recording things with like we were opening like the monthly subscription boxes from something like Geek Fuel, which I don't know if that one exists anymore, but Loot Crate was the big one we did. And we actually got a big one when we first started. It was probably most of the size of this table. There's one on the wall here, but I can't like take it off. But it was bigger than this laptop is wide. Probably about the width of this laptop with this. And about the same, it's almost square. It's called the Loot Crate DX. And it was like a bunch of like bigger items. I think we got a backpack out of one of them. And that was really fun for a while. We actually started doing some different ones after we finished out that first year of doing it. And we switched from Loot Crate to something cheaper because Loot Crate was like $50 a month or something. And we switched to something that was like 15 or 20. And we had 2 of them at that point. We went from the one Loot Crate to 2 different boxes. And one of those companies went out of business. One of them showed up, and there was one time we got one, and it was like it was supposed to have like this bracelet or something. And Mark's son was very excited about it when he was reading the little or looking at the little pamphlet. He's like, "Where's this?" And we were like, because we were looking through it and it wasn't in there. Turns out the box was a little open when we got it, and we were thinking that was a little weird. And it had fallen out somewhere in the shipping process. I always like to picture when I picture like FedEx, I always like to picture that scene from Ace Ventura, like the first Ace Ventura movie, where he's like kicking the box around and stuff. That's how I picture FedEx does their business. And after we did the loot crates, we started talking to our friends, and we made a separate YouTube channel and started recording and streaming our Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. And we did that for a while and continued to move more into the live streaming part of things versus making and recording videos, because it was just, I will tell you this, if you're a young, like an aspiring YouTuber and stuff like that, and you're thinking about streaming, but you're not sure, I'm going to be honest, streaming is much easier if you have the capabilities and the technology to do it. It's much easier because you don't have to edit anything. You don't have to you don't have to go through all this stuff where you're just talking to a camera. You can talk to your chat. You can talk to whoever you're playing with, that kind of thing. And I mean, if you're recording YouTube videos and it's like Jacksepticeye, that kind of thing, you're playing with people that you know, you're like very knowledgeable about whatever game you're playing, you did some research, that kind of thing. Like, you have a repertoire with whoever you're playing with, and it can work on either side. But just streaming, it's a lot easier to talk to, or you still have to talk to a camera half the time when you're starting out. But then once you develop an audience and you get to that point, you have people to talk to. You have a chat that will talk back to you, and you get that repertoire with people, like specific people in your chat. You get people that'll talk to you, and you get like a basic audience going, and it's kind of nice. And I don't know, I feel like streaming to me is better. There are some people that really prefer to do the YouTube videos, but the streaming was more appealing to me, and it still is more appealing to me. And we started moving to more streaming stuff, so that's when we started picking up the streams and doing that from the consoles. And then I bought a new capture card. This one was the Elgato HD60S, which is the one I still use to this day. And it is probably one of the best ones Elgato has released, because I think they released a 4K one recently, which was so much better for people that want to stream in 4K. I have no need for 4K streaming. The only platform that accepts 4K, and I don't even think they accept 4K streaming unless you're a partner, is YouTube. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not focused on doing YouTube stuff. I'm more focused on the streaming side. So I kind of accidentally neglect the YouTube followers and subscribers and stuff. And I feel bad about it, but on the other hand, I don't. because I love the streaming side. I love being able to interact with a live audience. And I'm a musician I was a musician from the time that I was like old enough to talk. So I've always had this like drive to entertain people. And when PettFarms came around to that point where we were talking to people that were or like watching our videos and stuff, it's so much better to me. And you still get that when you're making YouTube videos, but like my family can pop into a video while we're streaming, say whatever they want to say, and pop out. I've interacted more with my family on streams recently than anything else. But moving on from that, we did all kinds of stuff in the beginning. We recorded videos of us just eating things. We recorded videos of we did the Bean Boozled jelly beans challenge. That was one of the first things we streamed on Facebook, which is really funny because we streamed it to both YouTube and Facebook. And the YouTube, or I think I recorded it, put it up on YouTube, and also streamed it to Facebook. I don't remember, but that was where we were starting to kind of get bored of the gaming stuff for a while, or at least the other people in Pet Farms were, JJ and Mark. And then we started doing D&D more regularly, and it became a bi-weekly thing instead of once a month. And D&D kind of took off for us. And it was the one thing that people were watching more, so we started kind of trying to adapt that into a more regular thing, so we started doing it every other week, and we continue to do that to this day. That was years ago. And once we got into like 2017, the streaming thing started taking over a little better. We were streaming more to YouTube, and we were streaming more to Twitch. We gave up on Twitch because we only got up to, I think our highest viewer count we ever had on Twitch was like 5 people. And it kind of broke us because back then we were much more into the idea of like, we can make money off this. We need to try harder to get more people to watch our stuff. So we were still getting like 5-10 viewers live on YouTube. So we just switched more to doing YouTube. And then for a while there, we did just YouTube streaming. Like, we would not record a video. We would just stream to YouTube, and that would be it. And then we found Facebook. Facebook gaming started becoming a big thing in 2018, I think. And we had already had... See, when they started, they announced this Level Up program, which was going to be their Facebook gaming affiliate kind of thing. So they had Facebook partners and affiliates, which would be their Level Ups, which we are still a Level Up creator. We are still technically affiliated with Facebook, but as long as we're... They don't care as long as we're not multi-stream. I don't even think they care if you multi-stream, to be honest. But Twitch does. Twitch definitely does. But I don't think Facebook really cares about stuff like that. The only thing the Level Up program does for you is makes it to where you can receive donations. It's like Twitch's affiliate. So you can receive donations. With Twitch, you get subscribers too. And you have like emotes that you can do. But with Facebook right now, and since it's been a thing, they've been like slowly rolling things out because they're testing new things. They're throwing things at the partners that they can test to see if they want to move it down to the Level Up program or whatever. And they've been slowly rolling stuff out for years. Like, I think we just got bots for like making sure you get notifications and stuff like that, like in the last year or so. But like, we were still doing YouTube stuff when we first started streaming to Facebook. Like, I think Facebook started out, and I did like one stream a week on there with just me, maybe like one of the other people in the group. I think back then I was streaming Fortnite with my cousin and my brother. And my cousin is actually still in some of our content. He still plays with us, but my brother is no longer associated. I'm not going to get into that for different reasons. But we've moved from 2016 to 2018 at this point. So in 2018, we started slowly moving everything over to Facebook. And at a certain point, and I'm going to pull it up just to know exactly when, just in case. Hold on. Well, what I'm trying to look at is the date at which we actually started to move everything over to Pet Farms on Facebook. Let's see. So about 2 years ago, it looks like. Actually, it could be on my personal channel too, because I actually think I did that on my channel also. No, I deleted that video. I think it was about 2 years ago, so it would have been like mid 2019 or early 2019, late 2018, because I think we did it going into the new year of 2019. We moved everything over to Facebook. And we combined the Quest and Quip stuff with PettFarms. It was no longer two separate entities anymore. It was now one thing. So we were not only playing video games, we were doing the D&D podcasting. So like, or vodcasting, or just videos, whatever you want to call it. But we were like moving stuff around and doing some different content, and we played we moved some series over from straight up YouTube to Facebook as well. And I think at the time we were trying to move everything over, we were starting to stream, like multi-stream to both. And then I got to a point where I talked Mark, which was the other person, and JJ, he's now my like partner in crime. He's the second person in the group, down from me. Like, I'm technically the leader, but he's like my right-hand man. You'll see him a lot more than you see everybody else, and that's because he's been here since the beginning. He's been here, or he joined maybe 2 or 3 months into us starting PettFarms. So, here we are in like 2019. 2019 was an okay year for us because when the Facebook gaming stuff started, we got right into it. I think I did 2 streams maybe. And we were accepted because I think it took me a month to do the streaming, to get all the requirements we had done. And I think what it was I just needed to up the times, like how many times I streamed that month, and like the hours of how long I streamed. I think at first you had to have like 8 hours in 2 weeks or something like that. And I think you still have to do that to keep your level up status. But like back then it was a lot harder than it is now, because right now I'm unemployed and it's a pandemic, so you're not really going anywhere. So I'm kind of like at a stage in my life where I can make more content than I could have before. But at that point, I was coming home from work every other day basically, and streaming for 2-3 hours and trying to push out as much stuff as I could get. We were streaming constantly. It was like 4 days a week, 5 days a week. And there was a time there where I was streaming like 2-3 hours a day, just trying to make sure that we kept level up, that we were getting some stuff. And I think 2019 into 2020 is when things started going downhill, because we added, our D&D crew was like a rotating door of people for a little bit. We had we started doing like a Star Wars D&D type thing. We did a Rick and Morty D&D module, and I think we went through like 3 different people. Yeah, because we had one guy that was there when we started, got rid of him because of issues. There was another guy that took over for him after a while because he worked with us at our day jobs. He kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth, and randomly showed back up like once or twice. And then we started doing stuff with this other dude later in 2019. About mid-year, he did a couple other videos with me. I think we only did one other video, and he was playing Alien Isolation, I think, is what happened. And then he kind of got all high and mighty and tried to say, like, I had no air conditioning at one point in the summer of that year, and I canceled D&D twice. So, because we couldn't really do D&D anywhere else. Everybody, we recorded it weekly or bi-weekly. We recorded it bi-weekly and streamed it. And we were all just in this groove of like, we don't do D&D without streaming it. So we got to a point where that, like, if we couldn't stream it, we weren't playing. It was just that simple. None of us were really butthurt about it. It didn't matter to any of the rest of us, but he took, like, offense to it. And then when we finally talked him back into coming back, after about a month or so, a couple months later, here we are, Christmas time. We're playing Rick and Morty module for D&D, and I just look over about halfway through because he said something offensive, and I noticed it, but no one else did apparently. And I like flicked my wrist with this little Chewbacca cup that I keep dice in, and the dice went all over him. He was mad, but he didn't say anything. And then after the session was done, it got brought up like a week later to me at work by Mark, which was the person that had been there since the beginning. And some things went down there. We had an argument over our little Christmas break at work, and those two left the group. So the guy that I poured the dice on and Mark had left PettFarms. Mark permanently quit PettFarms, has not been in the video since, neither has the other guy, and I don't think much mattered about that. Like, we still make the same content we made before, we still make the same jokes we made, we still do the same stuff. Like, it didn't change much of anything, to be honest. But there's just less people when we play D&D, there's less people to play video games with. Like, we have a game that we have planned to do, and I don't know how we're going to do it, because we're going to have to give multiple characters to multiple people, but we'll figure it out. Something that happened with recently is somewhere in 2020, one of the guys that's been in the group for a while, he's been in the group for about 2 years or so, he just randomly stopped messaging back in the group, in our group chat that we have on Facebook, that we've had for years. I think it's actually like 4 years old. It's a very old Facebook group. But he stopped messaging back, and he's been in our videos and stuff for a long time. He's been around for a while. And he just randomly stopped messaging us back when we were talking about D&D. So Tanner just like took him out of the group chat, and he's not been in the video since. He's not even actually messaged us but once since then. He's been in the chat in the video before, and or in a stream. But up to this point, we've actually had ideas to do other stuff. Like, me and JJ have an idea for a horror movie that will be filmed in the year of 2021. I will make sure that it is. But we've had it planned. Me and Mark actually planned it years ago. We were going to do like a really cool, almost Jumanji style thing. But only because the way the story starts. It's a very like Jumanji board game, starts almost an apocalypse kind of thing, and it's like a horror movie, but it's like found footage horror, so it's kind of neat. And then there's some different things mixed in there, and me and JJ have got to like rewrite what we had and go about doing the story in a different way with different approach to it. But it will be filmed this year. I will make sure of it. And we had an idea for a ghost hunting series that will I'm still wanting to do that, but it won't be anytime this year, probably. That'll probably be 2022. With COVID being a thing, it's kind of hard to get into anywhere and do things like that. So we'll probably hold off until COVID has calmed down, or we'll just eventually film it with what we have. But if you guys want to see that, you can let me know in the comments below. That's pretty much the entire story of PettFarms, with some things like, I guess, like condensed down smaller. I didn't talk about a lot of the games we did because I don't think that part's important. I think the main story parts that I talked about were more important than what games we played. And I And I apologize to anybody that actually watches our gaming content on Facebook, because it's a lot of Assassin's Creed, and I feel really bad about that, but I also don't, because I don't know about you guys, but if I'm making content, I want to make content that I like. I want to make videos out of things that I enjoy playing or doing. So I'm not going to sit down and do something I don't want to do. And I want to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla right now, so that's the game that I've been pushing out the most. But I think I'm going to start playing something else. And like going back and forth between the two games, because that's a lot of Valhalla. And recently I figured out that people don't like watching the same game every stream, so we'll figure it out. But we want to do more stuff like Minecraft. We did a Minecraft series here in the last couple months. I think it was December at some point. And that actually was one of the highest viewed videos we've had in a while. And I really want to get back into stuff like that. So I'm going to talk to the group about it. And we'll figure out when we want to do it. It might be like a Friday night. It might be like a Saturday night once a month or something. But it might replace every other D&D session. It might just like be a once a month thing in general. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But the main thing I wanted to get across in this video was the history of pet farms. And that is definitely, I feel like, what happened. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, we are uploading podcast episodes of Peculiar Prattling Wednesdays and Saturdays. So you'll get content from us at least twice a week on this channel. And I'll share it to Facebook so the people on Facebook can see it. And we'll get more people in here. We'll get more people in the chat. Well, not in the chat, but in the comments. And what I'm gonna actually kind of talk about right now is I'm going to start plugging more of this, which is mypirate.com, because I want you guys to know that that is our sponsor. I want you guys to know that they will give us free stuff, and they will we make a little bit of money every time we sell something from it. And if you like to watch our Facebook videos, you can like, follow, share the streams when we're live. You can donate on there. If you want to donate, but you're not wanting to go into our Facebook chats and donate, you don't want to link your card to Facebook. I know a lot of people are like that. And you can go to patreon.com/PettFarms. And that link should be in the description. And that'll give you access to the different tiers of stuff. And I actually don't remember what it is, but some of them's like private voice chats with you guys, or like video chats with you guys. Some of it's like you get access to our Discord channel, and there's like a bunch of stuff that's added in there, and it's different for every tier. I've added different stuff. There's a point where you get like free merchandise from us and that kind of stuff. I'm really excited about the future of Pet Farms. I've mentioned that multiple times because I'm gonna start doing different stuff. For the time being, you're gonna see 2 episodes of Peculiar Prattling every week. I still got to get that name in my head. And the next episode you'll see after this one is going to be completely about Dungeons and Dragons. And it'll be mostly hosted by it'll be hosted by me, and I'll be talking about things. And you'll hear from myself and JJ, who will show up in that episode. And I'm really excited about that one because I've been talking about doing something like that for a while. I've been wanting to show people how to play D&D for a long time because it's a passion of ours, and we really want to like introduce more people to it. We want to like help people figure out how to play, and that'll be really fun. And I just want you guys to know that like if you really like what you're seeing, if you're on YouTube, like the video and subscribe. If you liked it, you can thumbs down it. I don't care. But as long as you subscribe and you think about donating, if you're thinking about it and you're not quite sure you want to, like I said, you don't want to go into our Facebook chats and link your credit card to your Facebook page, that is totally fine. You can go to the link in the description at PettFarms or patreon.com/PettFarms, or you can actually check out our website at PettFarms.com and donate while we're live. That is a whole different website. It's Streamlabs.com, I think, but those donations go through. But PettFarms.com is a thing, and it'll be a thing for about a year or two until we decide to like buy the rights to our own website and do it differently. But it's very easily accessed. It's got merch attached to it. That merch is a little expensive though, and I'm gonna work on a merch store from teespring.com, so you'll have something cheap to buy. And I'm kind of working on what we're gonna do about the logo. I'm when I get some money together, if we get enough money donated, I will actually go and pay someone to make a new logo. I've been wanting to do that for a while, and that would just give me a reason to do it. I think a new logo would be awesome. I mean, I made this one like 4 years ago, so we're still using the same logo I made 4 years ago. And actually, the Facebook Gaming, Twitter, Instagram was added last year, I think. But I think it's the same symbol, just with the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram logo, so it's not anything crazy. But if you want to see some updates about stuff, you want to see like when we're going live, that kind of thing, Twitter and Instagram will be the two places you can find that. I don't tweet a lot, but I do put some stuff on Instagram sometimes. And you'll find the link to my Twitch channel, where I also stream, in the description. You'll find a link to facebook.com/PettFarms, the Patreon link. I think there's an ad about, or not an ad, but the information that you need for the mypire.com stuff. This is a little bit longer of an episode than the last one, but I just wanted to make sure that I got things across. We're going to start promoting this kind of stuff in every episode. I'm probably going to start the episode with that kind of stuff. That way you guys hear all the kibosh in the beginning, and I don't have to spend 5 minutes at the end of the video doing this spiel about like random crap. I hope you liked the episode, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I have one more thing that I thought about before we end this. If you want to suggest new content, or suggest a topic or something to talk about in the next Peculiar Prattling episode, it's the PP podcast. I just realized. Oh god. If you want to talk about, or if you want to suggest something for us to talk about in the next episode of Peculiar Prattling, put it in the comments. If you want to suggest some new comments or some new content that you think would be funny to watch us do, go ahead and put that in the comments. We are planning on doing some more like axe throwing type stuff. I know that we didn't quite know how to do it in the last video we did, so it'll be kind of funny to do when we kind of know what we're doing. We might actually do one where we go to a place and or learn how to do it from someone that actually knows what they're doing. And there's a couple ideas we've got rolling around under our heads about new videos, so we'll figure it out. But I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter as well. And there is a link to Patreon. There is the information about mypire.com in the comments, and a link to my Twitch channel. I have mentioned that already, but I would like to put that in there. See you guys next time. Come back for the next episode of Peculiar Prattling with myself and JJ talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Thank you. Bye-bye.